James 2:23. Kai eplerothe, he graphe, he legusa, epistusen de Abraham to theo, kai elagisthe auto eis dikaiasunein, kai philas theou eklethe. Translation. And the scripture was fulfilled, which says, and Abraham believed God, and it was reckoned, or it was credited to him as righteousness, and he was called a friend of God. As we look up above here, we have this participle legusa from the verb lego. You can see the participle is just a present active participle, feminine nominative singular. Why is it feminine nominative singular? Well, because it's an attributive participle modifying graphe. Which scripture is it? Well, it's the scripture which says, and then this is all that the scripture says, quoting from word for word from Genesis 15:6, right? The scripture which says Abraham believed God. Notice that totheo, the reason that is in the dative is the verb pistuo will frequently take a dative object or dative complement, and so that's why theo there is in the dative, and it was reckoned to him for righteousness. This last little bit of the verse here, he was called a friend of God. Of course, there's an implied subject, autos. We know that from that third singular ending. This verb, eklethe, notice the augment, notice the theta, bam, right? We know it's going to be aorist, passive, indicative, third singular because of that ending. But you might be a little confused there by the clay. You're like, what verb do I know, clay? And I tell students, if you run into a verb that has just cla, it's probably from kaleo, and that's definitely what's going on here. So he was called from the verb kaleo. When you lose everything, lose all the vowels like that, that's called zero vowel gradation. So it makes us feel better about having lost all the vowels to have a technical term to describe it. And you can see he was called. Think about that. He was called, and then you have whatever he's called there. It's almost like a copulative verb, like an equal sign. He was called is really kind of saying he was a friend of God. He was called a friend of God. And because of that, then we have this form here in the nominative, because it's really functioning like a predicate nominative almost, isn't it? Right? Philos, he was a friend. He was called a friend. So philos, people debate what we should term it. As I look at it, it functions basically like a predicate nominative. Some people call it a nominative of appellation in this construction. There's Cooley, I think he calls this a nominative complement in a double nominative construction, right? So there's different ways of labeling it, but as you look at it, I think the meaning is pretty clear.